Hey guys, welcome to the Cantrip Cast, and today we're doing something a little different. I'm here with Ian, and of course I'm Brandon. And as you may know, this week, actually this Friday, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker comes out. And I got some fucking bones to pick, just to put it that way.
Brandon is a very big Star Wars fan. I mean, he's got tattoos to prove it. He's got junk all over his laptop and around his house about it. Mm-hmm. He is very opinionated on Star Wars itself and what's happened in the past couple movies. I myself, I don't really care about Star Wars. I mean, I'm a fan of movies, and since Star Wars is one of the biggest movie franchises out there, of course I'm going to keep an eye on it. But, I don't know too much about the extended universe outside of what I've played of Knights of the Old Republic and Republic Commandos. That's about it. Mm-hmm.
So, before we get started, I do know, you guys probably know this is more of a D&D centered focus channel, but at the same time, we do also enjoy other nerd culture and pop culture type things. So I figured, Star Wars is pretty damn nerdy. If you like Star Wars, you probably like D&D. If you like D&D, you may like Star Wars, and they go hand in hand sometimes because they're Star Wars RPGs. So this fits the channel, I feel. But I'm a big Star Wars fan. I know some of the other guys are as well. So my biggest thing to pick with right now is, and what I'm really going to discuss with Ian is, what can J.J. Abrams do to at least make The Rise of Skywalker a good movie after the events of The Last Jedi?
And all I can say to add to that is they've done multiple screenings of the ending with like 14 to 15 different endings, and none of them have tested well. What that means exactly, I don't know if they had a threshold of like 55 to 60% approval, and they're hitting like 54%, and they just consider it a failure. I'm not too sure on the exact specifics, but all I know is that none of them have really grasped the audience. So
yeah, and that highly worries me. It worries me. I know there are leaks online of what the supposed script is.
I've read them.
I refuse to read them. I'm not going to read them. I want, whether it's a shitstorm or it is the best thing since Empire Strikes Back, I want to be thoroughly surprised, regardless of whether how good or bad it is. I want it to be at least a surprise when I come in.
Actually, I don't know if you can consider. As I said, someone who's coming into this, not really the biggest knowledge of Star Wars. I guess, like, to me, it seems pretty goofy, but to a Star Wars fan who's like invested in this, there could be a hidden gem in there that I'm just overlooking because I don't know fucking...
Yeah, my biggest thing, unfortunately, though, is I have Star Wars fans. I have friends that are big Star Wars fans, too, and they've said they've read the leaks because they didn't want to wait to see, and they said it's god-awful, and they know... Well, that's what worries me. I'm like, fuck, but I still don't want to know. Like, I'm refusing...
I'm glad I'm connected to the collective unconscious on that one.
I'm staying off the internet just to be safe from Wednesday until Saturday, because I'm not seeing until Saturday morning. My wife works Friday night and she works Thursday, so she wants to go. So I'm waiting till Saturday morning to see it. So I'm staying off the grid from Wednesday to Saturday.
Since you've been staying off the grid, I don't know if you read any of this stuff, and it kind of backs into your issues with The Last Jedi. In recent interviews, all of the cast have come out and said, yeah, we don't know what was going on in The Last Jedi. Like, John Boyega.
I don't think anybody knew what was going on in The Last Jedi.
They all said, like, who is it? John Boyega.
Boyega.
He was like, yeah, I was talking with Mark Hamill about this, and we felt like some of the stuff that was going on didn't really make sense, and even who plays Rey? I don't.
Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, she was like, there's some moments that could have been better. Like, that's paraphrasing.
Yeah, I've seen the snippets in interviews, but they're just like, yeah, we don't know what was happening.
Yeah, so. they more or less they're like, hey, this new. I guess they're trying to get back those Star Wars fans that they've lost. So big Disney is like, hey, just if you need to poop on that movie, go for it, because this one will. Like, people are going to buy it anyways, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. People are going to go see it. I'm going to go see it because like Ian said, I've got like 3 Star Wars tattoos, and my entire office is decked out in Star Wars stuff. It's been a big thing since I was, I don't know, like 6 years old for me. Like, I've always been a Star Wars fan, and for the Skywalker era to come to an end finally, this is kind of a big deal because it's going to do one of two things. It's going to be the culmination of 9 movies coming together, or it's just gonna shit on the entire thing and put a sour taste in my mouth until somebody or something fixes it. So I guess what we're gonna do is I have a list of things that I was thinking about today, what I kind of want to break down and talk about from the shitstorm that was The Last Jedi. Now, before I get started with this, I'm not gonna say I hated everything about The Last Jedi, but most of it I wasn't a big fan of.
I mean, think of it this way, folks. There's already, as soon as Last Jedi came out, there was a lot of people who are criticizing it and, saying it was god awful and everything. Well, it's our turn to do that. We're 2 years late, but hey, it's better late than never.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more or less doing this because I really sat and thought about today, and I'm like, what can J.J. Abrams do, or what did he do that's going to put justice to this franchise, at least this trilogy on Friday? There's no fixing the shitstorm prequels. You just can't fix episodes 1 and 2 and 3. Those are just we forget about that testament. I don't even think about it. 4, 5, and 6 were great. Episode 6 was maybe a little weaker, but 4 and 5, Empire Strikes Back is probably still, widely agreed upon to be the best Star Wars movie because it's just, it's just very well written and everything else. But I digress. So here we go. What is J.J. Abrams going to do, or what I hope he's going to do or retcon, judging from the trailers or anything? I'm just, personal hopes that I may have. So number one I have on the list is Snoke.
Fix it.
Fix it.
As Brandon has it written
Snoke,
down.
fix it. My notes are very simplified. Snoke, fix it. So the reason I want Snoke fixed, or at least done justice for, is because in The Force Awakens, he was just this presence. He was the new emperor. He was and I remember watching Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, when you finally see the emperor, you're down from that ship and you just see his presence. You're like, oh fuck, this is the guy. My God. And then you finally see him in The Last Jedi, and you see him and there's just this gold outfit, and he's old and decrepit and his body's just falling apart. And you're like, oh my God, this guy's sick as hell. And then dead. What? Wait a minute. What?
See, I told Brandon before starting this, I'm halfway in between the two.
And like I told you too when we first started, before we started this, at first in the theaters, I was like, holy shit, that was cool. Then I sat and thought about it, and I was like, yeah, but the thing, and where does he, and how did he find who, and I just want a little information. Just give me a little.
I'm.
If he's dead, it's fine. I just want to know, where did he, who, where, how?
I mean,
who the fuck was he?
I mean, to be fair, we could probably get that information in the next movie, which is a little weird. But it's always been a common trope in writing of oh, we defeated the bad guy, right? And it's no, he was just a pawn. I wouldn't be surprised if they're yeah, if you want to do this whole if you want to go into the little bit of extended universe knowledge that I know, where it's doesn't Palpatine have 1,000 clones or some shit like this, where it's if he dies,
I don't know if that's canon anymore. I don't know how that.
Well,
I don't know.
I can guarantee it's not canon anymore because Disney nuked it. But it's the idea of if they want to bring that idea back, where it's that could have been just a real bad clone of Palpatine,
yeah,
and then they're just and it's
it's as long as they do something with the information that Snoke was given, or the information, as long as JJ does, I don't know. I just fucking don't know, man. They need to do something with him.
I was gonna say,
or at least the idea or information from him.
So I would say that Rian Johnson, considering that his only other movie that I've seen of his, which was Looper, to explain away the heavy concept and implications of using time travel in a movie, they just say, hey, we could talk about this for hours and get nowhere, so let's just ignore it. And considering that, he was probably presumably using that same idea with Snoke of nothing was explained with Snoke except that he's telling Kylo what to do. Let's just X him off, because in that way it's out of important characters that have realistically no real impact one way or the other, because it's not Snoke.
No, but he could have had an impact.
He could have.
That's the thing.
But since it could have, but they didn't. The idea of he had no impact, so let's kill him off for a cheap pop essentially of like, oh my god, he's died. You know, it's the most you can do without like having to sacrifice a lot. It's kind of like what happened with oh fuck, what's it called? Second Avengers with Quicksilver,
yeah.
where it's like everyone's like, oh, you know, like Quicksilver was only introduced in that movie and then died because it's supposed to be like a cheap emotional impact, like
shock value.
Yeah. So that's more or less what's up with
So they killed him for shock value, and it pissed off a lot of people. Is basically what happened.
Yeah. Even Johnson said it himself, you know. Or I don't think he said it, but I remember someone was saying like he felt like he was setting up like a twist, but then he wanted to pull a twist on that twist to the point where it became obvious. Where he was like, when he's talking to Kylo, he's like, yes, kill your enemy, do it. And
my thing is like,
and you're like,
if Snoke is this all fucking powerful like Sith fucking guy that's training Kylo, how did he not notice that the lightsaber next to him was turning to ignite on him?
Who's to say who was all powerful? He had a I
don't know. He flicked his fucking wrist and shot Daisy Ridley Rey with lightning across the goddamn room.
Yeah, but I think any old punk can learn that.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. Like
I don't know. All right.
You can learn Force Lightning pretty like early in KOTOR. I remember that much. Like as soon as you you dip your toe.
Yeah, if you do enough evil shit,
you dip your toe into the dark side. They're like, yo, you just want the lightning. we know. Take it. At least from what I can remember.
God. All right. Well, we'll move on from Snoke. Snoke is one of my nitpicks. Okay, number 2. Everybody is very excited and knows that Palpatine, the Emperor, is going to be in The Rise of Skywalker.
So we're still talking about Snoke.
So we're
still talking about
Snoke. Yeah, okay. So, anyways, let's move over Snoke and go to the Emperor Palpatine, who's probably fucking Snoke somehow. It's gotta be, man.
It's the other way of like.
My note for the Emperor is the Emperor dash do it right.
Do it
like,
right.
You have to do it right. Like you're hyping people up with Palpatine being in this movie. You can't make it some cheap ass way that he's in it. You can't be like, it's just it's a hologram. Fuck you, but it's a hologram, man.
I think that there's a.
But at the same time, he can't be alive. The body that he was in before can't be alive. It's got to be some fuckery. I don't know, man.
Red Letter Media. I'm going to be quoting them a lot in this video. They had a great idea of what they could do with Palpatine, and it's not going to happen. But I love this idea, where it's the idea of like, because ideally you saw the wreckage of the Death Star.
Yeah.
And so they were like, that must be that must have been like Endor or whatever, like where the Ewoks are, right?
Yeah, because that's where probably the shrapnel landed. Yeah, the shrapnel landed because that's where the final battle took place.
So the idea is this idea of like, what if like there's a bunch, like a tribes of stray Ewoks that like found it, and Palpatine was like, just because of his sheer like force mastery and like just his will to not die and lose to the light side.
If you say evil Ewoks,
no.
I swear to God.
He corrupts the Ewoks.
What?
So like he's like turning them evil. So you would see like instead of like the big fat fluffy teddy bears, you see like these decrepit like gremlin looking things, and he's feeding off their life energy to keep himself alive until he can find an appropriate replacement.
Oh my God!
And so it'd be like this weird satanic death cult of Ewoks, like cheering on this like burnt, charred skeletal remains of Palpatine.
I'm gonna wait until later to get to my Palpatine.
I
Palpatine
like
theory.
that idea because in that way, because if Star Wars is so fucking determined to bring everything back, you gotta bring back Ewoks.
We're gonna skip to my next. We're gonna skip to it right now because it goes right in line with this. The Emperor, do him right, and what I've wanted since fucking episode 3 or 2, I'm pretty sure it was 3, when Palpatine was explaining to Anakin that, my master was an apprentice of Darth Plagueis and blah, 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 and he killed him in his sleep and he trained me. Give me fucking Plagueis. I just want give people Darth Plagueis. Like, it will make fucking sense. It just would. It would fit. Because Palpatine literally said, my master learned how to escape death from his master, Palpatine. So he was able to take his life force from one body to another. So who's to say Palpatine didn't take his fucking life force when he was dying and transfer it somewhere else? Maybe that was Snoke. I don't fucking know. Give me fucking Palpatine and I'll suck J.J. Abrams' dick. I don't care.
So here's the thing about this whole idea of the Plagueis theory. For a Star Wars fan, this means a lot. for a movie fan that's a one-off line.
I know, which is not
So
why it's
fuck
not going to
it.
happen.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
so fuck it. Like the idea of like, oh, they.
But there's
Of course, his.
There's one thing that gives me hope, and I'm going to tell you what this is.
All right.
So, the original Star Wars movies, okay, like 4, 5, and 6. Each of those each of those movies did not rely on you to understand what happened in the previous. I mean, like you had to understand what happened in the previous movie, but they didn't hold your hand through the entire movies.
Oh no,
they didn't. They assumed that you've seen the other movies.
Well, no. Well, that's the thing, because the idea of a good movie, like with sequels, is that if the movie should be good enough to where it can still stand on its own, and you don't need to connect it to other movies.
Yeah, it should, exactly. But the thing, I mean, the lore is still gonna be connected. It has to be.
Well, I know that's a benefit, but if someone was like, "Hey, I'm going to watch Star Wars," and then just started on, Empire Strikes Back, that movie is good enough to where they don't need to know.
No, they wouldn't
about
yeah.
anything.
They can hop right in.
They could be like,
well, that's what they did with A New Hope. Or like A New Hope was literally Episode 4, but it was just called Star Wars when it came out.
Yeah, they started with New Hope because that was the first movie. Of course, it had to stand on its own.
It did, but there was so much shit that happened before that nobody had to understand.
When it came out, it didn't. That stuff didn't happen yet.
No, it didn't. But there was an unspoken and unwritten history that had happened that nobody knew about.
Oh no, yeah, but that shit was all explained in that movie of like what. So yeah.
So if they explain Plagueis in this fucking movie, then that'd be great. But I want them to. They're probably not going to. I just want fucking Plagueis. That's all I want. If they do the Plagueis theory in this movie, like that'll be it. That'll be it. It's not gonna happen as much as I want it to happen. Plagueis. What are the notes? Oh. Yeah, it was supposed to be number 7, but Darth Plagueis dash.
Yeah, we skipped a bit.
Darth Plagueis, for the love of fuck, give us Plagueis theory, please. That was my note for that one. So let's go back up.
We're on Luke now.
Luke.
Fix it, as he said.
Luke, fix it. My notes are fix it, do it right, fix it, fix it, fix it.
See,
make it satisfying.
I mean, that's with Luke, it sucks because... And this is a problem with, I think, Disney in general, and this is because they also got the Marvel side of things, and they've turned. I won't say but they approved of this theory, and they just thought we should just do it too. It's the idea of like there needs to be comedy at all times at inappropriate times.
But it's fucking forced, man. It doesn't need to be forced.
No, trust me. The moment I heard a Your Mama joke in Star Wars in the movie, I was like, "Oh, we're in the fucking deep end." Oh
fucking,
no,
that was Poe, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Poe.
And
the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so fuck that. But
here's the thing: like Star Wars comedy should not be forced. Like the first moment I laughed in Star Wars when I ever watched Star Wars was like, it was a comedic moment. You could tell it was a comedic moment, but it wasn't like cringy forced worth. It was when Han Solo in A New Hope was in the original Death Star, and he was speaking over the intercom to one of the stormtroopers, and he's like, "Is everything okay up there?" And Han Solo was like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. We're good here.
We just got a malfunction.
How are you?" What? Blasted him. Like, that's funny. Like, that's the humor that should be in the movie, not, "Oh, your mom." Like,
let's say
fuck.
No,
Ryan Johnson, fuck you.
And see, that's why I kind of blame like the Marvel side of it, because like that shit didn't exist until Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're like, "Oh, let's see if we could do this in everything with space."
It's not fucking Guardians. God, Star Wars, man.
Yeah, trust me, I'm fully aware. But then that moment, like the idea, like granted, there's some ideas that I do like with Luke. The idea that like he was like, I know shit's not gonna go well with this kid, and then he like everything just fucking blew up in his face, and he's like, "Fuck it, like I'm not gonna do this anymore." Like I'm all right with the bitter Luke, but they need to keep
what I like.
They need to stay with the bitter Luke.
I will say what I liked with Luke was the fight scene at the end when he fought Kylo. The fact that fuck the hologram for like 30 seconds. Let's forget about the force projection hologram. The way that the hologram fought is the way I imagine that a fight between a Jedi and Sith should be. He, as a Jedi, was doing everything he could to not intentionally just murder somebody right away. I mean, he was a hologram, so it wouldn't hurt anyways, but the way he moved and fought, and like, it was just elegant, and it wasn't like flippy-doo-dah day, up and down, fucking force backflips and stuff. He had like the one little cool maneuver, but he was very just elegant and calm, and like made sure to give time for everybody to just escape. And that's what I liked. But then he fizzled away and died. And I'm like, oh, you fucking kidding me.
Oh, yeah, it's weird. I like I said, like, I do like the idea, like in a movie, like, that's the thing too, like when it goes back to the writing again, and like I'm just quoting regular media again, the idea that this is supposed to be, in terms of like trilogies, this should be the dark middle chapter. It should be the chapter where like the heroes are at their lowest peak, and then right before the moment where they come out and triumph.
As it should be, which I like the fact that The Last Jedi put them like against the wall, which it should.
No, they ended up where they began. There was no change in this movie.
There was kind of half of the resistance got wiped out. Over half. The rest of the resistance is on the Millennium fucking Falcon.
But that's the thing. The idea is, where did Episode 7 end? Where they were like,
I know, they were all happy and shit.
The order,
and Rey was like with rocks.
Hey, we did it, and like the Order is still a threat, but we can handle this. End of 8, there was no change. Hell, not even the conditions of the characters change. Like, sure, like Finn is no longer in a coma, but now we have his girlfriend now in a coma.
His girlfriend, that I'm gonna fucking not even get into that, because that on-screen romance should have. And this is not the actor that played Rose. People gave her shit on the internet, like a lot of shit for her performance. You gotta understand, that is not her fault how they wrote her character. I don't agree with how they portrayed that like romance on screen. It just felt forced and unneeded.
Well, the idea of like, she's like, oh hey, like it's Finn, like you're a legend, like people know your name, like that's fine. And then finding out that, you know, the legend's not real, like he's a coward who just wants to leave, like that part sucks, because like why is he still trying to leave even though he's like, I'm gonna fight against them?
Yeah,
like that doesn't make sense.
I am going to, because I have a section about Finn that I want to get to, but we're still on Luke technically right now. The thing with Luke, the fucking lightsaber, okay? And this can't be fucking retcon, which unfortunately I don't think it can. This lightsaber, Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, which was passed down to Luke, is one of the most iconic weapons in cinema history. It just is. Like, it's Darth Vader's lightsaber from when he was Anakin Skywalker that was passed down to his son, and it got lobbed off of his arm when his arm got cut off, and it went flying into a fucking abyss where nobody ever saw it again until Rey came along and she was drawn to it. Where did it come from? How did they get a hold of the lightsaber? Why was it there? Why was Rey being drawn to it? Was it just the Force doing it? What was it? But then they fucking just snap it in half, and the most iconic weapon in fucking Star Wars history and almost cinema history is just destroyed.
Okay. In defense of this thing, of this issue, how much time was spent in between Luke getting his arm chopped off and Rey finding the lightsaber? How many
20 years? 20 or 30 years, something like that.
Okay. So, considering the events that unfold, this is taking a lot of liberties with this idea. But the idea of, like, since it happened in, like, it was Cloud City, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Considering that, oh, hey, it fell into a garbage chute, possibly. It fell out. Some collector found it, like, hey, he probably went to Lando. Like, hey, I found this really rare item. You know, if we could get some fucking money or some shit. I'm sure there's a fucking book out there about this shit. Possibly.
There might be. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars guy, but I don't know everything.
And then Lando's like, oh, hey, I know a guy who could use this. And then Luke's like, you know what? Like, I just made a new one. Like, I'll keep it for, you know, when I start up the Jedi Order again.
I don't think Luke would have just fucking said, "No, I don't need that lightsaber, though."
No, he said he'll keep it for the like that again. A lot of liberties, you know, there's a lot of hypotheticals and assumptions.
That's a fucking stretch, man.
Oh, it's stretching all the way from here to Timbuktu, but like there's
more iconic symbolism behind the lightsaber than just it fell down a chute and a garbage collector picked up and sold it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, fuck. Why didn't he have this green one then? Why is it the blue one?
What? Luke has the green one. He made the green one.
Yeah, but why is the lightsaber? Was the lightsaber they got green or blue in the movies? I don't remember. In the new movies.
In the new movies, the one he had was blue.
Yeah,
it was blue because it was blue. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would assume that he would like, oh, hey.
The projected one was blue.
Yeah. So then why? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why it was not. Then where's his green one this entire time?
I don't know, Ian. I think it was. I'm confused now. I think it was blue.
Yeah, it is. It is blue because I remember Ray using it in all the trailers, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know why they kept focusing on the blue one just because it's his dad's. But then he said fuck that one. I made a new one. You made the green one, so why isn't it the green one in the movies? JJ can't save it. He fucked this up.
I'm looking it up now. I want to see the fucking fight. It's blue. It's blue.
Yeah.
What do you do with it? Why would he not project the green one?
Yeah.
He still has the green one.
Yeah, Grease the Jedi Master. Why is he using this fucking...
I don't fucking know, Ian. It doesn't make any sense.
Even my logic doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Kylo knows that lightsaber's broken, so he had to have known, like, what the fuck.
No, he didn't. He's emotional.
He broke it with Rey in the fight.
He's emotional.
You're emotional. All right, next topic. I can't keep fucking... I gotta change topics. We gotta get this video over before I have a fucking stroke. We touched on Finn already. I'm not gonna make us the short story. Long story short, Finn. At least make like his arc satisfying. Like the casino thing did not cut it. Like, come on,
man. Everything. I have a big issue. There's actually it goes into. It starts with it. Finn's the only character that I have an issue like with this idea, or with the issue I have, the big one with Last Jedi. It's Finn, Poe, and the Admiral, Laura Dern's character.
Okay,
all of them.
yeah.
Because here's the issue. So you think about it. They're like, Poe's not told the plan by Laura Dern's character, the Admiral.
No.
Right?
No.
So they do this whole thing of like, hey, find like a code breaker, and then we're going to steal the codes, and we're going to hop onto the fucking plant destroyer, or whatever the fuck it's called. Or
Star Killer, whatever the thing. No, it's not Star Killer now.
Yeah,
whatever, the newest fucking
death
thing.
weapon. Yeah. So go. No, it was
It was a big ship. It wasn't even the fucking Death Star. It was the big old ship.
Yeah, super ship. And we'll go on there and we'll stop the attack. Blah blah blah. Okay, so Laura Dern's character didn't tell Poe about the plan that that ship that they're on is a fucking decoy, while everyone hits the escape pods and goes to the salt planet.
Would you think be something she would fucking tell somebody like that?
That's fine. Like, yeah, sure, you didn't tell because whatever.
You think he's gonna go off and go AWOL and do his own shit? Whatever. Okay, I guess I get it.
But then here's the thing. Like, no, it still sucks. Like, she should have told him. But okay, so then the idea.
If she tells him the plan, then he's open. He's probably gonna be open to it. Like, oh, because as soon as like he found out the plan was, he's like, oh, we can escape. Fuck yeah. Like.
But then here's the thing. So, Finn, girl, I can't remember her name. His girlfriend.
Rose?
Yeah. Rose and Codebreaker, all right? They get on the ship, and then instantly Codebreaker betrays them and it's like, hey, they have this secret backup plan. Where the fuck did that happen? Because if they knew about the secret backup plan, why are they still on the ship? And if they didn't know about it, how did the Codebreaker know? All of this could be fixed.
Fuck that movie, man.
All of this could be fixed if Laura Dern literally just said, there might be an insider. Then literally everything fixes it. Because that's why she doesn't tell Poe, because maybe Poe's the insider. You don't know. He's not a part of her inner council, so he can't be trusted. And then the idea of like, maybe she tells Poe, like, I'm afraid of like, there may be someone on the inside. And then the insider starts passing the code off to, the big ship, Codebreaker would hear this little transmission because they're all on red alert, so no one's at the station. He hears it, breaks the code because he's the Codebreaker. He knows how to do this shit, and he's like, "Oh, I could probably sell this information." That's his like ace up his sleeve if things go south, which they do, and then he betrays them, and then that way they could have been like, both Finn and Rose could have been like, "Oh, everything we've done is stupid at this point." Like because
everything they did was stupid. Like that entire casino planet just fucking it was just not necessary, man.
The idea of a traitor would have just solved everything, and all it would take is just a couple little switches of dialogue and a little bit of exposition.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about this goddamn movie, dude. Like,
it's simple.
No, it's not. It could have been.
JJ, pay me. I've fixed everything, essentially, in Last Jedi. I did it. Like,
By nitpicking it apart and saying what they could have done or should have done.
Just
Yeah, but it's too late now. It's canon. It's official. It's fucking there. And the only hope is that J.J. Abrams just retcons everything.
Not if they follow good old Georgie's route.
Not if fucking Princess Leia wakes up and she's like, oh, it was all a dream.
No, I was going to say, no, they just do the thing where they'll just edit in their CGI Laura Dern and Poe talking to each other going, there's a traitor inside. Like, just make it with that Marvel, that movie magic. Throw in that line of exposition in.
Yeah, out of all the things they CGI, they're not going to do that. All right, let's go to...
Who's the one Admiral guy who was like Darth Vader's like right-hand man who showed up in...
shit, what's his name?
Who showed up in the spin-off movie. Rogue One.
I don't know. I know you're talking about. I'm drawing a fucking blank.
He's entirely CGI, and
I know
because he's dead.
He's dead. I know.
So you're telling me they're not going to do that bullshit? They totally do that.
We'll see. All right, what's next? I want to touch on Leia real quick because Carrie Fisher's dead, so I'm really interested to see what they're going to do about her.
Yeah, again,
Mary Poppins ass flying through the air. Like,
quoting again another excerpt from Red Letter Media. The idea of, hey, here's the Beatles. Let's get rid of everyone except John Lennon. He can carry it, right? Uh-oh. He's dead. What are we supposed to do now? Like, what a brilliant idea. I mean, technically in the world of Star Wars, no one's really dead. And technically with the power of movies, no one's really dead. So
she's gonna my prediction
everyone's
is,
a Force ghost.
My prediction is she's gonna die, and she has to die, like in the Rise of Skywalker, unless she is what
this is why I truly hope the leaks are real.
Don't fucking tell me.
I'm not gonna say anything, but
just don't. I don't want to hear anything.
The way they do it. If it's true, I'm going to fucking shit.
Just shut the fuck up, Ian. I don't want to hear it. Stop. You're ruining. If they're true, I'm gonna. But just don't.
I don't have to. I just want to see. It's already ruined.
I just want to see Leia. Yeah, you're right. I just want to see Leia have a satisfying story. That's it. I think the Mary. I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy she lived. I mean, like, I think if during that explosion, we talked before we did this video, that explosion with her looking at the camera, they being sucked into space, that would have been a good send-off right there. It would have been, but she just Superman across the fucking spaceship and just went inside and was like, what?
There's like 3 send-offs where it's like when she gets blown off into space and she's floating there, they have the stars behind her and it has this real heavenly glow, even though her body should have been vaporized from the shot. But hey, that's the send-off. And then she flies back in. And then they're like, yeah, she's in a coma. She needs to rest. And I was like, oh, are they just going to kill her off this way with they just write her off? Yeah, she's just sleeping forever now.
You just see the heart monitor stop and they jettison her back into space where she fucking came.
Yeah. And then finally they go to the salt planet and talking with Luke for the first time in years. And there's an actual blinding light in the background to show, that have this heavenly feel to it. And he's like, I'm so glad to see you again, one last time. I'm like, yeah, this is them saying goodbye. And then she gets on the escape pod and gets away for the 3rd movie. And I'm like, what a ballsy move.
Yep. All right, that's Leia. What else we got here? Kylo fucking Ren. I know, okay, one thing I am happy about. The Knights of Ren are finally going to be in the freaking episode 9 after being teased throughout the first movie.
This sucks because... it sucks for me personally because I thought those red guards were the Knights of Ren in Last Jedi, and I'm like, okay, they're bodied now. We don't have to worry about it.
No, those aren't the Knights of Ren.
So that's why I was so confused.
So my question is, where the fuck have the Knights of Ren been this entire time?
Hanging out with fucking Papa Palpatine. I don't know.
Oh God, what if that's true?
They're also all Palpatine clones.
That's all the Knights of Ren are. They're just Palpatine clones. I swear to God, if it's Palpatine clones or Rey clones or if clones are involved in this fucking movie, I'm gonna have a fucking stroke.
Why wouldn't the Emperor, who made a clone army, not use clones as a fucking backup?
He probably would though. Oh my God,
that's just poor management on his side.
It's just cheap. It's just as cheap as time travel. Just clone.
Oh man, yeah. No,
and I'm a hypocrite because I did that to you guys in the fucking podcast. but still, it's Star Wars.
But no, I mean,
Kylo. Here's my thing with Kylo. I remember seeing the Force Awakens trailer, and seeing this dark and shadowy figure just trekking through the snow in the woods in a hooded cloak, and he whips out his lightsaber and this crazy, not normal red beam, like a fucking uncontrolled red beam.
It's
comes out, and then the cross guards come out, and you're like, what? And then you see the movie, and the first shot you see of Kylo Ren is him get out of the ship, and Poe shoots at him. He turns and goes, "Phew," and stops the laser. Just midpoint, just fucking stops and just stays there. And he lets go whenever he wants to. Then he fucking just murders a guy. And I'm like, this guy's a badass. And then the movie progresses, and then the Last Jedi, he's a whiny little girl. He's whiny.
See, that's the thing. It's always been like kind of like Kylo's been on this, like in the first one it was a power fantasy, but he's like, I'm gonna be the next Darth Vader. So that's why he gets his ass kicked in the end of it, because he's like, I'm trained. It's like someone who's like, yeah, I'm a trained boxer, and they've gone to the gym like 2 or 3 times, and they think they can win a street fight in that. So he's like, I'm gonna fight Rey, and then she manages to get the upper hand, and he's like, it shattered his ego. He's like, I'm supposed to be the next Darth Vader. How is this fair?
And it probably shattered his ego. My thing is like, and people have given me the argument, like, how the fuck is Kylo not? How did Kylo not overpower? First of all, Finn for the first part. He fought Finn first, and he at least held his fucking ground.
I want to say that because he hasn't fought anyone in that up to that point. He's fought bums. I have a gun. I'm a farmer. Like, he's done that much. He's killed villagers, not people who are like, I'm gonna fight back.
I guess that's fair. But then he went against fucking Rey, and people made the argument like, oh, well, you see, the Force balanced it out, and the Force gave her more fighting capabilities and powers, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my god, shut the fuck up.
Well, I was gonna say, compared to he like was having difficulty with Finn until he was like, all right, like, no, he left himself wide open, because Finn, you look at him, he's only, in terms of...
And I'm not even going to talk about the fact that fucking Kylo sliced Finn in the spine with a lightsaber, and he was fucking fine.
I was going to say, that's what I'm getting at, is you look at the idea of, like...
Remember when lightsabers used to kill people? Cut off limbs and heads and just fucking kill you?
Oh, they don't do that anymore. That's too violent. Come on. You save it for important story bits or animals, because fuck animals in the Star Wars realm. But no, you look at Finn.
Fucking Chewbacca eating the porgs.
If Finn doesn't care, like, he barely has any like combat skill. Like, he's like, I don't want to shoot people. He hates it.
Yeah.
Rey is at least trained fighting, because she lived on,
which is fair, yeah.
So the idea
she had to fight to survive her entire life, which I get. So she is probably more trained in fighting than Finn is, which I would understand why.
So the idea of having
she had a better chance against Kylo than Finn did, but it was just like,
so that's the idea, is you have someone who is trained but has no real actual experience, and you have someone who has a lifetime worth of experience but isn't properly trained. Like, she's able to, it's not her weapon of choice, but it's still like, oh, I can get it. Like, just
when you're right. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
you're right. It's just frustrating.
I'm not saying it's perfect, because I have to justify it. The movie should justify it itself.
The thing is, they're both trained, but they just don't have the experience. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're both trained in different aspects of fighting, and then this is the first time doing something like that.
Yeah, and plus that's the thing with
I don't know. It's
someone who's.
It's just, I want to see a true villain in this movie. Like, Darth Vader was a force to be fucking reckoned with until the last 10 minutes of Return of the Jedi. The entire the original trilogy, when you saw Darth Vader, you were like, fuck, man. Now you see this, and you had it with Snoke for a minute. Now you don't. And then Kylo, you don't get that feeling. You don't get that feeling of, oh, fuck, it's Kylo Ren. You get, oh, here comes Kylo Ren. He's going to get his ass kicked again.
Well, I would say he's like in the weird stage of like
puberty
of Anakin and like episode 6, where it's like,
you mean episode 3? Anakin?
Yeah. Oh, 3. Yeah. You're
episode
right.
3, yeah.
So he's like, hey, like, he's talented, but he's in order to reach that point of, Sithhood, you need to let your emotions get the better of you. And that's what happens. And if you become too emotional, you just can't focus clearly. So that's why he's making all these mistakes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not.
You're not wrong.
It's
you're
like
not.
poetry. It like rhymes.
No, you're not wrong. It's just.
It happened with Anakin. It will happen with.
I just want to see I want
Kylo.
in an entire
And,
trilogy. You should have that villain that's like shit. Like if you try to
See,
make something that's comparable to Darth Vader, make something comparable to Darth Vader. That's like when you see him on screen, you know shit's gonna go down.
That's the thing. He's trying to be Darth Vader when he's still Anakin.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're on point with that.
But no, I think my biggest issue with Kylo is the end of again.
The thing is, if they're trying to, if he's Kylo, okay, maybe if Kylo is like in an Anakin stage right now, then who the fuck is the bad guy to fear? There's nobody. There was Snoke, and now he's dead.
Well, that's the thing. It's the idea.
So therefore, they're bringing in Sidious to try to give you that big bad presence because Kylo isn't it. Okay, there we go. Now it makes sense. Unfortunately, fuck me.
Yeah. And that's to say, my biggest issue with Kylo at
This
the
movie's
end,
fucked regardless, isn't it? It's just it's
the end of the last
it's,
movie.
Oh my god, it's so.
If I can explain a little bit,
Go ahead.
My biggest issue was I want him to. They were on to something brilliant. The idea of since him and Rey are facing essentially the old guard. You know, she's going with Luke. He's going with Snoke, essentially. The ideas of the old ways. Like, Snoke is just telling him, stop acting like a child. You know, you're supposed to be a Sith Lord. And Luke is like, stop being a Jedi. This stuff is worthless. Near the end, when Kylo was like, we can do this together. We don't need to follow the old path. We can start our own thing. Like, that had the potential to be so cool.
It did.
And then
it had potential.
It's Star Wars. So
but then Rian Johnson was like,
no, not Rian Johnson. No. This is Star Wars problem because there needs to be evil and there needs to be good. So you can't just have them join forces until one of them turns over completely.
All right, we got to end the video here in a second because the battery isn't red. So, yeah. I guess there's one thing I would like 2 seconds I want to touch on is, and there's nothing I can really say about this. I just want to come out of the movie theater surprised about whatever's going to happen, which I'm going to be because I've avoided all spoilers or leaks, and I want the title to make sense. The Rise of Skywalker. I wanted to know at the end of the movie which Skywalker rose. Is it going to be Leia, or is it going to be Kylo, or is it going to be Rey if she's a Skywalker? Like, it can't be Luke, like he's a Force ghost. It can't be. I mean, maybe it's Anakin in some way, shape, or form, like Darth Vader. I don't fucking know, man. Like
they're gonna do some.
Maybe Anakin's spirit takes over Kylo or some shit and rises. Because here's my thing.
No,
George Lucas said Anakin was a chosen one. He was always meant to bring balance to the Force. So if it's a Rise of Skywalker and Anakin is still truly the chosen one, according to George Lucas, then maybe somehow Darth Vader / Anakin is gonna be involved in this fucking film. He's gonna be the one that rises. I don't know. I just wanted to make sense.
No,
We'll see.
It's gonna be. They're gonna make it a title. Why we're not Jedis, we're Skywalkers.
I'm fucking done now. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this episode of the Cantrip Cast. I know this wasn't a D&D video, but, you know, we're all nerds here, and we like doing other things here as well, you know, doing pop culture discussions. We are back to weekly videos now that time is on my side a little more now. And, yeah, I have a headache.
He's defeated. I'm, you know... This is par for the course
I've been
for
defeated
me.
for the past 2 years ever since the Last Jedi came out, and I'm excited to see the movie. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I hope that it just goes well, and we'll see what happens.
I'm not too invested in this movie, but if people want to go see it and they invite me, I'm not going to be a sourpuss and turn down a good evening with friends. So hey,
so you can laugh at the movie and pick it apart while they're watching it and crush their hopes and dreams.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'll do that in the theater, but I mean, if the dumb shit that it might happen happens. Ooh, man. It's gonna
all right, I don't want to hear it. No, we're done.
Good.
All right, we're done. I will catch you guys later. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Cantrip Cast. Like and subscribe if you like, you know, maybe you want to hear more discussions like this on not just Star Wars, but other, you know, pop culture nerd things, D&D, movies, reviews, whatever you want to do. You know, we're down to do a lot of cool stuff here. So if you like this, like, subscribe, comment, maybe something we should break down, talk about next or whatnot. Yeah, thanks for watching. I know it was a longer video, but I just had to go on a rant, man. I just needed to.
He needed a vent.
I needed a vent. So, all right, guys. Catch you later.
Bye-bye.